Hey guys, it's Halo553. Welcome back to another Beyblade X unboxing and review. Today we're going to be checking out the last of the starter packs from Wave 7 of Hasbro, that being Stun Medusa. Now going over the packaging quickly, as you can see, standard UX packaging. We've got the open window showing off the bay, along with a nice image. And then on the back of the box, it just goes over everything that we get in this release. So of course we have the Stun Medusa blade, which says dodges attacks. Ratchet is 960, and then we have the gear ball bit. So let's get into this starter pack. So here is Stun Medusa out of the packaging. Now, Stun Medusa, similar to Hack Viking, is a retool of a UX bay. It's the second bay to get that treatment, which is pretty cool. Now, granted, the bay that it's retooled from isn't great, but either way, it's still really cool. So, let's now go over each of the components one by one in more detail. So first up, we have the Stun Medusa blade itself. Now, Stun Medusa is a UX bay, so long chunks of plastic, and the metal is more allocated to the outer weight distribution. Now, Medusa is a retool of Shadow Shinobi, so it is a stamina type orientated blade, and you have three, recessed blades in the design here. Now, granted, Shadow Shinobi isn't exactly a great stamina type. In fact, it's one of the lightest bays you can use right now, and unfortunately, Stun Medusas are even lighter by quite a bit, which is even more unfortunate, so this will heavily affect its performance. But it can do decently with some combos. Not amazing though, but I will say the motif of it looks really cool. Love the gear chip. It has like a forbidden look to it, like it's giving you that stone cold stare. But other than that, I think it looks really cool. Granted, I'm not the biggest fan of the Shinobi lock chokes on it. I think it takes away from the look a little bit, but other than that, this is a really cool looking retool. Next up, we have the 960 Ratchet. Really solid Ratchet to get in a starter pack here. So 9 treasure points at the 60 height. So it's one of the oldest parts. We've got this originally with Phoenix Wing, like back in the first year of Beyblade X. So, and it's still used a lot today thanks to its great burst resistance. So 960 is a very popular part, and really great to see it in a starter pack here, and in some brand new exclusive colors. I think the white in this lime green looks really cool, and I definitely see the people buying this starter pack not just for the part, but for this color coordination. Finally, for the bit, we have Gear Ball. So this is not a new part. We got this first with Wyvern and Gale, and it has quite a few releases since then. It's not the best ball bit. Granted, it does well in the Hasbro Extreme Stadiums, I will say that. But in TT Stadium, it does tend to get outclassed by some of the other ball bits. But even still, this is the first appearance of it in a starter pack, which I can't really complain too much. Plus, the color it's in is pretty interesting. But other than that, it's kind of a mid-tier part. Not the best, not the worst. But you just don't really see it that much compared to other ball bits currently in play. With this combination of parts, it makes Stun Medusa a stamina type. So let's head over to the scales and see how much this weighs compared to the original Shadow Shinobi. Alright, let's now do some weights for Stun Medusa. So, Gear Ball weighs 2.02 grams. 960 weighs 6.2 grams. And then finally, the Stun Medusa blade. This one weighs 27.19 grams. So yeah, it is fairly light. It is one of the lighter blades you can get right now. Now when you compare it to the original Shinobi Shadow, this one weighs 28.03. So it is about a gram lighter, which isn't great. But I will admit, this one's actually one of the heavier ones I've seen. So, but like if you keep this within the same like weight range when it comes to other blades that weigh similar weights, this actually honestly shouldn't do too bad. So let's put the bay together. 960 and Gear Ball. So there's the full combo. I gotta say though, I do love the colors that they used on Stun Medusa. I think it looks really good. So altogether, Stun Medusa weighs 35.44 grams. So yeah, not a great weight because there are blades that actually weigh this amount. So, but anyways, let's check out Stun Medusa in some test spins and some test battles. All right, now we're gonna do some test spins and some test battles with Stun Medusa. Let's check this out. So you can see, being on Gear Ball, staying relatively in the middle, but moving around a good amount. It is just a shame that it is lighter, because if this actually hit a bit heavier, maybe even 29 grams, this blade actually honestly could be pretty decent. But even still, I love how this looks. It's honestly probably one of my favorite retools I've looked at now. I mean, say what you will about the retools, about how they are molding wise and how they are lighter most of the time. Designing of the design of the base looks so cool. I think that is definitely one of the strongest points with these new molds. But let's now see how Stun Medusa does against some opponents. I was not expecting Stun Medusa to get an overfinish there. Yeah, I figured that would happen. If you're putting it up against attack types, it's gonna get knocked around heavily. Wow. Like, that's a 7-gram difference between them, and Stun Medusa handled that really well. Star Medusa managed to outspin, and that's a 10-gram difference between these two bays. That's a bit nuts. Spun it again. I think it's definitely Medusa's shaping that's actually really helping it combat basic mummy curse. I think the shaping is actually really working in its favor here, despite its slight weight. Because again, there's a 10-gram difference between Medusa and mummy. That's actually kind of cool. Actually, to see this outspin it twice. So that was it for my look at Star Medusa. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this release overall, but don't expect this to be a meta tier bay. It is really cool that we are getting more UX retools, and considering that we are getting another new retool, supposedly in Wave 8, I'm hoping that's another UX retool overall. But honestly, it's not the best bay. I mean, it is a whole 2 grams lighter than the original Shadow Shinobi, which is not great. But honestly, the parts it comes with really makes up for it. Coming with 960 in a starter pack is honestly kind of huge. First release of that Ratchet in a starter pack. While Gear Ball isn't the best ball bit, I definitely will appreciate seeing this in a starter pack now. But honestly, I can actually recommend this over the original Shadow Shinobi just on the parts alone. And honestly, I do like this motif a bit more than Shinobi. I think this wears the mold a lot better. But that's just my opinion. But I am pretty happy with this release. So my final thoughts on Star Medusa are really good. While it's definitely not the best bay competitively, and it is lighter than the original Shadow Shinobi, the parts alone and the motif really make up for it. If you've not picked up Shadow Shinobi yet, I honestly would recommend picking this up way more, mainly because, well, I think the motif looks a lot cooler, and you are getting much better parts, and, well, ones a bit that won't ting up your stadium, so I think that is a major point to this release. But anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Beyblade X videos in the future, and until then, I'll see you all in the next video.